we're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Tuesday, March 31st here in Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Today's date is June.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Also, we have Kim with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in, and both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So it's the second day of the work week, and as the weather warms up, more people are stepping outside and making the most of the fresh air, heading out to hit the trails. And hiking in particular is seeing a real surge in popularity this year, with more beginners and seasoned hikers alike lacing up their boots and exploring nature. So Jun, are you someone who enjoys a good hike?
Yes, I am actually into hiking these days. I went hiking last week and again on Saturday to 관악산 mountain. My church is actually close to the area, to the mountains. I often head there after Sunday service. And as you may know, at Arirang TV, Umyeonsan Mountain is just around the road, so I often go there during my lunch break. And it's become some kind of a family habit as well. So my children have grown up hiking from a young age, so they do enjoy those trails. And it's just not about just hiking. There's plenty to enjoy around the mountain as well. There are forest playgrounds, zip lines, walking red clay trails known as hwangtokgil in Korean, even small libraries inside the forest. So it offers a wide range of experiences for families. It's really the perfect place to unwind and enjoy a bit of nature. It's a place where kids can run free without worrying about cars and burn off their energy a lot, and everyone goes home a little happier with some nap.
Right, and that's probably why you can see families, you see older people, all sorts of people climbing those mountains these days. So what about you, Kim?
I am an outdoor person as well, and hiking is also something that I really enjoy, one of the outdoor activities, and including running that we talked about last week. And I have hiked a number of mountains here in the Seoul metropolitan area, and I think the biggest upside of many mountain trails here in Seoul is that you get to see the panoramic view, Seoul view within just like less than 1 hour of trekking. And you're in nature, and most of all, you're actually exercising with great health benefits. And on top of that, it's free of charge. You don't need to pay any money to actually exercise and have that beautiful scenery in front of your eyes. And another popular mountain, other than the 관악산 mountain that Chuan talked about, is Cheonggaesan. It's only a 20-minute drive and a 40-minute public transport ride from here, Arirang Station. And I actually went to Cheonggaesan 2 weeks ago for a little hike. And the best part of this mountain is that there are so many different courses you can choose from, which means you can cater to your needs and your, I guess, hiking capacity. So, I mean, for like first timers, it's a great mountain. And for like the real hikers who are so experienced, they can take hours and hours to get to the peak. So I think this mountain is definitely one that I would recommend, among many others that we will talk about later today.
So hiking really is the best of both worlds, getting a full workout in while enjoying those incredible city views. So we're going to talk more about this, but first, let's take a look at the screen. South Korea has been gaining global recognition as a must-visit travel destination. And one area drawing growing attention is its mountains. Known for their scenic beauty, accessibility, and well-maintained trails, the country's peaks offer a unique hiking experience. And as the weather warms up, hiking is becoming even more popular. Today on News Generation, we take a closer look at one mountain in particular that's drawing crowds, why Korea's hiking culture is resonating with both locals and tourists, and what you should keep in mind before heading out on the trail. Just as we saw in the video, hiking in Korea is no longer just a pastime for older generations. It's become a full-fledged trend among younger people as well. So what's behind this recent surge in hiking's popularity, specifically among the younger generations, June?
Well, back in the day, hiking in Korea was mainly considered as a leisure activity for older generations. But since the pandemic, it changed a lot. It's become increasingly popular among Gen Z, largely because it offers both physical and mental well-being, and is of course free of charge, as Kyu mentioned. And more recently, 관악산 Mountain has emerged as something of a hot spot among younger people after a fortune teller mentioned that the mountain carries particularly good energy after a rough day. 관악산 Mountain spans several areas, including Gwanak-gu District and Kumcheong-gu District in Seoul, as well as Gwacheon and Anyang in Gyeonggi-do Province. So for many Gen Z climbers, visiting the mountain, making a wish and sharing it on social media, hashtag 오난 or workout completed, has become a kind of a trend or even a playful ritual. It's become so popular that people often have to wait over an hour in order to take a photo at the summit. For me, I was at the top of the summit of 관악산 Mountain, and I have actually waited for more than 30 minutes in order to take a picture in front of the big rock. So online searches for 관악산 Mountain have more than doubled compared to last year. From what I have seen myself, it's not uncommon to spot groups of young people, sometimes just a few friends, sometimes quite large groups heading up together. You can also see quite a few couples as well, making it a rather popular date spot these days. So a view, a photo, and a quiet little wish for you.
The thing with 관악산 Mountains, I've actually wanted to go because I heard exactly about what you just said, how it apparently has good energy, it gives you luck, and I was like, I can always use a bit more luck.
Yes.
But it's a bit hard to climb, isn't it?
It is a little bit hard, but you can just go there, you know.
Thank you for the encouragement. So it's interesting how something once seen as a middle-aged hobby has now become a kind of social trend for younger hikers. And this shift isn't just cultural, it's also having a ripple effect on related industries. So how is this trend changing the outdoor apparel market, like some of the clothes you're wearing right now?
So just before I answer that question, just a little tip for our foreigners who visit Korea to actually go hiking. If there is the word ak inside the name of the mountain, like 관악산 or seoulhikes, it actually implies that it's a very difficult mountain to climb. So for first timers and beginners, try to avoid mountains with the ak, yeah, like Sujin was saying. Anyway, so going back to your question, the fashion industry definitely picked up this trend and applied it immediately to its line of apparels. In fact, Mushinsa Standard, which is a private brand from Korea's leading fashion platform Mushinsa, recently launched its city leisure clothing line to match the growing popularity of young hikers by blending a style of, the city life and outdoor activity vibe into one style. Among the MZ generation, we're seeing more outdoor items being worn every day as everyday items, such as windbreaker jackets, trekking shoes, and even functional backpacks. Now, some brands from this industry have actually selected idols, I mean big-time idols like An Yujin from IVE and even V from BTS as their main models to further appeal to the younger consumers, which again highlights the growing popularity of this trend. Now, only a few years back, the main models of these outdoor brands, leisure brands, were mostly actors in their 30s and 40s. And now we're seeing many idols become the main models. So we're definitely seeing this big shift in consumer sentiment and their preference. So, I mean, it's too late for me to become a model in their 20s, but definitely we're seeing this shift. So we're seeing absolutely more people, young people, get into the hiking trend.
Right, so hiking really is no longer just about the activity itself. It's become part of everyday style and identity, especially for younger consumers. And it's not just locals jumping on this trend. So why are Korea's mountains gaining popularity among foreign visitors as well?
Yes, international tourists visiting Seoul, they are fond of visiting Korean mountains these days. They're not just heading to places like Myeongdong or Gyeongbokgung Palace, but also making their way to the mountains. What makes it particularly unique is how accessible they are. Think about it, it's quite rare, even globally, to find a city where you can step off the underground and begin a hike almost immediately. In most cities, you'd have to travel quite a distance before reaching a hiking trail. So because of this, many visitors see Korea's main mountains as something of an unusual playground right in the middle of the city. It offers a completely different way to experience Seoul, one that's both active and refreshing at the same time. So in fact, last year, around 6 out of 10 visitors to the Bukhansan Mountain, Bukhansan Hiking Center, were foreign tourists, more than Korea. So nature just around the corner.
Right. I mean, that's a great point. Having mountains so easily accessible right in the middle of a city really makes Korea stand out. And beyond accessibility, there seems to be even more reasons behind this growing appeal. So what makes hiking especially, I guess, convenient or attractive for foreigners?
So these hiking centers are very foreigner friendly, where you can receive guidance in different languages from English, Chinese, and Japanese, and more. Not only that, you can even borrow hiking shoes, trekking poles, and crampons, which are metal spikes used in wintertime when you trek, at a very affordable price. So, I mean, you can actually go on a hike in Seoul without any hiking equipment, which is very, very efficient. Also, the hiking trails and the signs along the trails are very easy to follow and minimizing risks of getting lost. And most of all, once you reach the peak or on the way to the peak of high mountains, you can even buy kimbap and 컵라면, cup noodles, and even 막걸리, which is Korean rice wine, at a very affordable price as well. But if you're one of those people who can actually resist that temptation, even when you feel hungry, once you step down to near the entrance area, there's so many different traditional Korean restaurants that sell fantastic food, like pajeon, which is like the seafood pancakes, which goes very well with makgeolli that I just talked about. I'm a big fan of makgeolli and pajeon. There's also like 도토리묵, which is like the jelly acorn, which is really, really popular among the older generations. But I think younger people these days really appreciate these kind of foods as well. So for those of you who actually want to pick up food, that's all part of the Korean kind of like hiking culture, where you come back down and have food with your friends, and that's the part of the whole package.
And the thing is, I don't know if it's because everyone's eating after, working out, but those restaurants near the mountains are known to be quite good wherever you go.
Very good.
So that's another thing to look forward to. So it really shows how Korea has turned hiking into a uniquely accessible and enjoyable cultural experience, from convenience to food to social rituals. And to get a more personal perspective on this, we're going to be joined by a hiker who frequently explores Korea's mountains. And that conversation is coming up right after break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search out Channel Arirang News. Click Posts and cast your vote in the poll. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Lenina from the US, who leads a hiking club in Korea. So hello, thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So Lenina, which mountains have you hiked, and which one would you say is your favorite?
I have hiked in all 23 national parks of Korea and then some. So my favorite is the hardest one I have done last December, seoulhikes. Like you say, ak, is very hard. And that was a 12-hour hiking day. And I was exhausted, but with how hard it is, it had the best rewards, the best views. So I would say that is my favorite. And I have hiked many trails in seoulhikes, and that is my favorite national park with the best trails.
Wow, 12 hours of hiking, I can't imagine that, but it sounds lovely. Then what makes hiking in Korea stand out from hiking in other countries?
Like you guys mentioned earlier, the accessibility to the public transportation. You can get off the train or the bus and the trails are right there, or some of the trails are within walking distance from neighborhoods. And I love that the cell phone coverage is so strong and easy, so I can look at my phone and I know where I'm at. The restrooms, easy public parking structures. So that is what I enjoy with Korea's trail systems.
Lenina, I actually want to ask you two questions. First one is,
Yes.
How did you actually start this whole hiking club here in Korea? What made you actually start the hiking club? And which Korean mountains would you recommend to foreigners or even first-timers?
Okay, so I arrived Korea May 2020 when the heart of the pandemic, and we live in Camp Humphreys military base, and the only activities we're allowed to do at the moment was hiking. So a few months later, I decided, why don't I combine my love of hiking and some cycling and form a Facebook group. So I open a Facebook group and start a monthly hike to get to know the people that live in the military base and off base, so we can combine Koreans and military folks to know each other while we go join these group hikes. So I created that Facebook page, and it's up to 4,000 members close to now. So it's 5 years ago that it's grown. And mountains that I could recommend, you mentioned earlier, and I also recommend it, is the Seoul City Wall Trail, because it has Ingwansan, Bukaksan, and Namsan you can hit, and you can enter 4 different main gates. And if you don't want to complete the entire trail, you can do sections of it and exit when you're tired. Or if you're a more advanced hiker, you can complete the entire perimeter, which I have done, but I broke it up in 2 different sections and enjoyed it, one in the spring and one in the fall, which is the highest peak hiking season in Korea. So I recommend, if you're in the spring and the fall, try to complete that trail in sections or the entirety if you are more fit to do an entire wall.
So before I let you go, do you have any plans on which mountain you'll climb next?
I'm actually doing the Black Yak Top 100 Mountain Challenge, and I've started it about 2 years ago. I've done 96 out of the 100, and I have 4 more left before I completed it. And the last one was Jirisan, Cheongwangbong. That was a week ago, actually. So I have 4 more left. Bukhansan is actually my last 100 that I'm saving to celebrate with my group. So my 100th mountain is Bukhansan.
And then you can have makgeolli with pajeon to celebrate your 100th
Yes, exactly.
hike.
Pajeon. Pajeon is definitely my favorite hiking food.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm someone who's looking to get into hiking, so thank you so much for the recommendations. And yeah, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we've just heard from an avid hiker about the mountains she's explored, what makes hiking in Korea unique, and which spots she'd recommend to visitors. So let's get a bit more specific with some top picks. So which Korean mountains, Jun, would you personally recommend?
Well, I'll definitely recommend 관악산 mountain once again. Well, it's easy to access by subway, and the name itself, as you mentioned, 관악산, it actually refers to ak, a mountain with crown-shaped some lines, peaks, and rocky ridge lines. It offers some truly stunning views, of course, and especially beautiful in spring and autumn. And another great thing is that you can choose from a variety of trails depending on your level. You were hesitant, you didn't know what to do for Aksan Mountains. There are many trails, routes for beginners and also for the advanced levels as well. And there are so many signs, well signposted and relatively easy to navigate even for first-time hikers. The only thing is, it can get quite crowded these days because of the popularity, but I still recommend going early in the morning or on weekdays. As for foreign visitors, Bukhansan Mountain is by far the most popular one. With just about a 2-hour hike, you can enjoy breathtaking views where the city's skyline meets the forest. And of course, local dishes like tofu hot pot, that's quite famous as well, and acorn jelly, as Kyun mentioned earlier, and a real treat for you after the hiking.
So all of this sounds like a great mix of accessibility and scenery, though the crowds might be something to keep in mind as well. So for those looking for something a bit more casual or beginner-friendly, there are also other options as well. So I'm personally curious about this too. So what are some easy hikes available in Korea?
So this is for you, Sujin.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I suggest 2, Namsan and Achasan. There's no ak in these mountains. So Namsan, I'm sure many of our foreign viewers are very familiar with Namsan, especially with Namsan Tower. It was shown in the background of Netflix's animated hit K-pop Demon Hunters, and I'm sure many foreigners actually visited Namsan to actually see it in real life. And also thanks to the Namsan Sky Forest Path, which opened last year, now everyone can reach the peak, even on a wheelchair or with strollers as well, upgrading its accessibility. Now, Achasan, which is my favorite, has a relatively low elevation. So it's just about like 10 minutes of hiking. You can actually enjoy a panoramic view of the Han River and the Lotte Tower at a glance. Again, it is very accessible. The entrance of these mountains is only less than 10-minute walk from the nearest station to make it very, very accessible. And the night view especially is very beautiful. So for those of you who are visiting Seoul, these places are so accessible. Just by one subway ride, you can reach the closest mountain. And like I said, Achasan Namsan is very easy to go for a trail, for a hike. So, I mean, why not?
Right. I also have a recommendation as well called Eunbongsan. It's near Seoul Forest, and that's also takes 10 minutes to go up the peak. So to reach the peak,
minutes?
yeah, to reach the peak, and there were
like a park.
dogs were also hiking
they're allowed.
that mountain.
Even dogs
So
can do it.
Dogs can do it. I'm sure you can do it too. I can do it. You can do it too. So yeah, these are all really good recommendations. So all these sound like perfect options for a light hike, especially with views like that. So of course, safety is just as important as the scenery. So what should hikers look out for?
Well, there are definitely some things that you should follow, keep in mind when hiking. As the weather warms up, mountains like 관악산 mountain with lots of rocky peaks and ridges can actually become more dangerous. There are still some patches of snow that haven't fully melted yet, which can be quite slippery. And because of the leaves, it can be slippery still after the rain. So proper hiking shoes are essential. And also temperatures can drop quickly in the evening. So it's quite important to dress in layers, lots of layers like me. And most importantly, you need to be extra careful on the way down. That's when, most accidents tend to happen. So after all, a safe return is the best finish when you're hiking.
And that's a really important reminder, especially with changing weather conditions. And beyond the trails themselves, preparation also plays a big role. So how can hikers avoid injuries, Kyun?
Like Chuyeon said, many of these trails have rocky paths, so it puts extra pressure on your ankles, joints, including your knees. So obviously, stretching, warming up, hydrating yourself before the trail is very important. And I think going in groups or even with a friend is the safer option, because if you do sprain your ankle, if you do get injured, you'll have someone who can help you out. Even though there are great facilities with the emergency service as well, but going with someone will be the safer option. And trying to finish the hike before the sun sets. So start early, finish early, because the sun will set very quickly. It gets really dark quickly in the mountains, and it gets cold as well. So I suggest for newcomers and beginners, start early with a friend and finish early. Enjoy some great food once you finish the trail. And of course, know your ability, know your capability, how much you can actually push yourself fitness-wise, because once you reach the peak, you're only halfway there, because you have the other half to actually come back down to the entrance, which is the exit. So keeping that in mind will give you a better experience of hiking here in Korea.
Pacing yourself is important. So as we've seen today, hiking in Korea is more than just a pastime. It's becoming a culture experience that blends nature, lifestyle, and social trends. So from scenic trails to unique traditions, it's clear why both locals and visitors are hitting the mountains. And as the seasons change, it might just be the perfect time to lace up your boots and see them for yourself. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. But News Gen will be back tomorrow with more stories and discussions. A big thanks to Chuyeon.
Thank you so much, Sujin.
And also Kyun.
It's always a pleasure.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for watching. And hopefully the only uphill battle you'll be dealing with this week will be a hiking trail. We are
News Generation.